How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, thank you for stopping by. My name's Dylan, and today we're going to be taking a look at my favorite mono white commander, Adeline Resplendent Cathar. Adeline is a star 4 who says Adeline's power is equal to the number of creatures you control, and whenever you attack, for each opponent create a 1/1 human creature token that's attacking them or a planeswalker they control. Adeline looks to motivate the people around her to join her in her quest to conquer the board to finish off our opponents with a massive army behind her. Real quick though, if you haven't already, please consider turning the like button a nice blue, black, white, whatever color you want. Go ahead and comment your favorite mono white commander down below. We also got a TCG player affiliate link. If you want to use it, that's cool. If not, that's also cool. Finally, we also have a Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel financially, there's even a tier where you get your own personalized deck tech. If any of this sounds interesting to you, you can go ahead and stop by there. If not, it's no biggie. Alright, with that said, let's get into it. So for starters, let's address the elephant in the room. Mono white sucks at both ramp and card draw. To help us with that, we got 13 mana rocks in here, 2 reducers, 2 pieces of ramp. We also have 8 pieces of card draw and something to manipulate our hand. With that, let's talk about it. For starters, we're running Soul Ring and Talisman, Coalition Relic, Everflowing Chalice, Fellwar Stone, Gilded Lotus, Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt, Marble Diamond, Nyx Lotus, Oketra's Monument, Sword of the Anime, Thought Vessel, Knight of the White Orchid, and Solemn Simulacrum. Holy jeez, that's a lot. We're also running Caged Sun and Extraplanar Lens. Soul Ring and Talisman are pretty self-explanatory. Coalition Relic lets us put a charge counter on it and gives us a mana equal to the number of charge counters on it in our pre-combat main phase. Real quick, you do have to remove the charge counter. You do have to remove the charge counter in that phase as well. But that's where the mana comes from. Anyway, moving on. Everflowing Chalice lets us pay 2 any amount of times into it and taps for an amount of colorless equal to the amount of times we paid into it. Fellwar Stone taps for a mana of any color our opponent's lands can produce. Gilded Lotus gives us 3 mana of any one color. Jeweled Lotus helps us cast our commander. Mana Crypt is pretty self-explanatory. Marble Diamond gives us a white. Nyx Lotus gives us a white mana equal to our devotion to white. Oketra's Monument makes our creature spells cost 1 less to cast and creates us a warrior token whenever we cast one. Sword of the Anime gives us a basic land whenever the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player. Thought Vessel taps for a colorless and gives us no maximum hand size. Knight of the White Orchid and Solemn Simulacrum both give us a basic land on ETB. Then Caged Sun and Extraplanar Lens make our lands tap for an additional white. We're also running the Immortal Sun, which makes all our spells cost 1 less to cast and draws us an extra card at the beginning of our turn. Speaking of drawing us cards, aside from the Immortal Sun, we also have Mind's Eye, Skull Clamp, Tome of Legends, Alms Collector, Esper Sentinel, Mangara the Diplomat, and Mentor of the Meek. And again, Solemn Simulacrum, who draws us a card on death. Mind's Eye lets us pay 1 to draw a card with our opponents. Skull Clam lets us draw 2 whenever the equipped creature dies. Tome of Legends gives us a page counter whenever our commander ETBs or attacks, and we can pay 1 to remove a counter and draw a card. Alms Collector limits the amount of draw our opponents can have while also taking us farther than them in terms of card advantage. Esper Sentinel lets us draw a card when our opponents cast their first non-creature spell if they don't pay an additional equal to its power. Mangara gives us a card whenever attacked with 2 or more creatures and when our opponents cast their second spell each turn. Finally, Mentor of the Meek lets us pay 1 whenever a creature with power 2 or less comes into the battlefield under our control to draw a card. And with our commander, we're going to be able to get more than enough cards from this. And now, let's get into the real spice of the deck. Normally with token decks, things get out of hand real fast. And that's exactly what we're going to do with some cards that utilize Adeline's effect in a beautiful way. First up, we got the Anthems, which beef up our creatures. Honor the Pure, Intangible Virtue, Sanctuary Lockdown, and Valor and Necros. Honor the Pure gives our creatures +1/+1. Intangible Virtue does the same with our tokens, as well as give them Vigilance. Sanctuary Lockdown does that with our humans, which, spoiler alert, there's going to be a lot of in those. And Valor of Necros gives our creatures +1/+1 whenever a creature enters the battlefield under our control. Each time we attack, there's 3 separate instances of creatures entering the battlefield, turning 1/1s into 4/4s, which is absolutely disgusting. Continuing the theme of Anthems, we also have Prava, Elesh Norn, Golden Knight Commander, Eldrazi Monument, and Angel of Jubilation. Prava gives our tokens +1/+4, Elesh Norn gives our creatures +2/+2, and nerfs our opponent's creatures by 2. Golden Knight Commander does the exact same as Valor and Necros, and Eldrazi Monument does the exact same as Elesh Norn, but also gives our creatures indestructible. The only downside is we have to sacrifice a creature to keep it around, but that's a small price to pay with the amount of creatures we have. Finally, Angel of Jubilation does the same as our Anthems, giving all our creatures +1/+1. All of these are nothing though compared to the MVP of the deck, that being Cathar's Crusade. Cathar's Crusade is an enchantment that says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Again, each combat we create 3 tokens, putting 3 1/1 counters on each of them. Each combat steps creates lethal damage pretty quick. especially in a go-wide deck. Next up, let's get into even more token generation. We're going to be running Darien, Hazada Marshal, Leonin War Leader, Hero of Bladehold, Finale of Glory, and White Sun Zenith. To make things funny, we're also going to throw in Helm of the Host and Stryonic Resonator. Darien is a 3/3 human who says whenever you're dealt damage, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Hazada Marshal creates us a soldier token whenever it and 2 other creatures attack. Leonin War Leader creates us 2 1/1 white cats whenever it attacks. Finale of Glory creates us X 2/2 soldier creature tokens, and if X is 10 or more, we create that many 4/4 angels as well. White Sun Zenith also has an effect like this, creating us that many 2/2 cat creature tokens. Helm of the Host creates us a copy of the equipped creature each combat, and with Adeline, this also kind of gets out of hand, giving us 3, 6, 9, then 12 human creatures, so on and so forth. And Stryonic Resonator can also copy the ability. With the Resonator, we're going to want to use this on either Adeline, Helm, or Anointed Procession's ability. We're obviously not limited to these, but if I had to choose, these would be our prime targets for the hit. Finally, let's get into the interaction. We're going to be running Strixhaven Stadium, Vanquish the Horde, Wrath of God, Generous Gift, Mana Tithe, Path to Exile, Rebuff the Wicked, and Swords to Plowshare. Vanquish the Horde is an 8 mana board wipe that costs 1 less for each creature on the battlefield. Wrath of God costs 4 mana that does the exact same thing. Generous Gift and Path to Exile and Swords to Plowshare all help take out a threat our opponents control. Then Mana Tithe and Rebuff the Wicked each counter a spell. Mana Tithe countering unless our opponents pay 1, and Rebuff the Wicked countering any spell that targets a permanent we control. And Strixhaven Stadium will make our opponents lose the game if we get 10 creatures through. We're a token deck. This is happening. And with that, let's assess the power level of the deck. So let's talk about the speed first of all. While it's not winning on turns 1 through 5, after play testing it multiple times, I can safely say the deck's pretty fast. But like I said, it's not winning early game. So with that, let's dock 2. The average mana value of a competitive deck is less than 2, with an immense amount of mana efficiency. Our deck says almost 3, kind of lacking in the efficiency part. With that, let's dock 2 more. Lastly, there is no infinites or loops in here, so we dock 1 more. If you've been keeping track, that leaves us at 5. And so, let's talk about the saving grace. With us focusing so heavily on ramp and card draw, it provides us with the ability to have those explosive turns everyone wants. So, we add 2. There are 8 pieces of interaction in the deck, with the draw and ramp, and since we're doing tokens, our commander only costs 3, we're going to be able to redevelop our board pretty fast. Let's add another. Finally, there are a lot of ways to buff our creatures. Whether they're temporary or permanent does not make a difference when you're getting hit with an absurd amount of beefed up 1/1s, or if we've had Divine Visitation on the field, 4/4s. It doesn't really matter how much lives our opponent are at. So, this is completely subjective here. Personally, I don't believe it is, but that leaves our deck at a 9. However, I personally believe it's an 8. If there were any loops in here or infinite combos, I might consider it, but for now, I believe it to be considered high casual. If you've stuck around, thank you for making it this far. If you think this deck is better or worse than what I believe it to be, let me know down in the comments section below. If you haven't already, please be sure to check out our Discord server down below, and maybe please consider tapping that like button and subscribing. If you'd like to help support the channel, we do have a TCG player affiliate link down below. You can buy some singles for your collection, or maybe just buy an entire deck with the thing. If you don't want to though, you don't gotta. There's also a Patreon link down there if you'd like to help support the channel financially. It really means a lot, and every little bit goes a long way. There's also a tier where you can get your own deck tech, just for you. Again, if you don't want to or you aren't in a spot to do so, that's completely understandable. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. And again, thank you for making it this far. Y'all are awesome. I'm going to call it here. To which I say, y'all have a great day.